Hey, Sergeant Roy here, and Sergeant Roy's Pathfinders. Glad that you can join us right here. Hope that everything is going well. And this is probably like our third or fourth broadcast, and I hope that you're getting it. And I'd love to hear some feedback from you uh, as we go on with this series here, because, like I said, my objective for Pathfinders is to reach an audience of young people that are graduating high school, college, getting ready to start off in life. And I kind of designated myself as a youth mentor success coach. So, based on your my experiences, I'm going to help you try to lay a plan down to set a good plan, a path for your success, wherever that might be. Well, today's broadcast is all about high school. The school's getting ready to start. I know at the college level and as far as high school, and it's getting ready to start in about a week or two for some of you. So tonight's broadcast is about school. School's getting ready to start. What's your plan? What's your plan? Now, I want to address you high schoolers first. You know, some of you are a year, some of you are graduating next year, some of you've got 2 years to go. But I want to know what's your plan? What's the plan that you have in place to move forward to make that transition from high school into what? And next, you college folks, you're getting ready to graduate college. You may have been in a 2 year institution or maybe a 4 year institution. What's next? It might be some more education, or it might just be moving into your profession that you studied for. And I want you to start thinking along those lines about what's next. But let's bring up a couple of topics I'm going to talk about tonight. The first thing is that it, what does the school year look like for you? What does it look like? Okay, you're getting ready to start school. Is it just going to be just like going through another year of all the same activities, all the same, things, events and things that are happening? What is the what does the school year look like for you for 2025, 26? Is there have you given it any thought? Now, I know when I was dealing with my children, I have two adult children, they're all graduated and out on their own. But I know with my children, when they got ready to time for graduation, some of the kids, I noticed that some of my children were, it's like, it's the reality of that school is finally coming to an end. That school is it's the next step. And for certainly you, some of you young people, it is a scary step. I agree. It is scary. It's like, what are you going to do next? And you've been in school your entire life. What does the next step look like? And then let's think about it. The next step could be three options. And I remember on my other broadcast, I talked about those options. But the first option is college. And my young, high schoolers, are you looking at school, college? Have you been looking at schools? Have you been getting on some of the websites for some of the universities? If you don't know, excuse me, got a little bit of a chest cold tonight, so I'm going to be kind of coughing a little bit, but excuse me. If you don't know, consult your career counselor about what are some of the schools that are out there available for you. One of the things I will say that university, I know I used to live in the state of North Carolina, and I lived in the city of Charlotte to be exact. And to my surprise, they have one of the top community colleges in the country. It's called Central Piedmont Community College in Charlotte, and it has a very good reputation for some of its graduates that have attended there. And it's some of the kids that go to school there, they don't live on campus. I don't think they have any dorms or anything, but they get the same value as if they went to another university. But they're a very good community college that does very well. Some of its graduates have gone on to bigger and better careers. So, but I want you to start thinking about what schools are you looking at? What schools, and then if you're looking at pursuing college, let's talk about financing because that is a an issue. I know that your parents are concerned about that. I know that when my children got ready to go to school, we didn't have a boatload of money. I know it's every parent's dream to go to the bank and write one check to the university and pay for our children's education. But that's not always true for every household. That's not true. So financing, this is probably a discussion you probably might want to have with your parents, your mom, your dad, or both, about how are you going to finance school. Now I know there are financial aid packages out there, uh, financial aid options out there as well. Every school has them. So there's something you might want to look into. How are you going to pay for school? And trust me, some of these big universities, I mean, if you get out there on the internet and Google it and look at the tuition costs for 1 year at like Notre Dame and 1 year at University of Michigan, some of these big name schools, you're looking at $20,000 to $20,000 a year. A year. It's crazy. It's just totally crazy. So you want to look at pricing, financing. How are you going to finance school? Uh, you might be eligible for financial aid packages, scholarships that are available to you to go to school as well. So if you're, if anything, this school year, if you're a senior, you should start preparing for that. Every day you should do something different to start doing your research now. Start doing your research now to start looking at the type of schools or that you might be interested in attending and looking at the tuition costs. Then you might want to, I think you can fill out, it's called a FAFSA form, I think if I'm correct. FASFA, I think it's financial aid, stands for financial aid something. Just look it up. And I think you can pre-qualify. You can see what you're available for, what you qualify for. So you've got a lot of work ahead of you. Okay. So if this is your last year in high school or college, or especially high school, and you're getting ready to think about college, you need to start now. You really need to start doing your diligence now, looking at that. Okay. The other option is we talked about is the military. Okay. And I was going to throw that in there. I'm a, I've served in the military, retired from the military as well. However, I did do some college. I did a couple of years of college before I decided to join the military. And as I said in my other broadcast, the military has great options that are available for you. There are so many options, such as they have a great college fund where you can join the military and you can put away so much money, and the military will match that money into what they call that college fund. Or you can do that, and then you can also go to school while you're serving in the military as well. That's another option. Another option is that they have a green to gold program where if you qualify, you can sign up and be qualified for a what do we call a ROTC scholarship program, where you can go to school now, and then after you complete your 4 years of education, then you go into uniform, you go into military service. And that's a sweet deal too. There are like at least 4 or 5 options that are available for you. Now, you probably want to go on a site like I know the Army has on their website, goarmy.com. Go on the Air Force website, the Marines, they have pretty much the same packages. So you want to kind of go out there and see what they have available for you in the military. Excuse me. I love this option because it will not allow you to get into debt. And one of the things about young people, when you're getting ready to go to college, especially college costs, when you graduate, I got not only just not my children, but relatives of mine that their children are in a high level of debt due to education. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I know a lot of young people, the military is not really something they really want to do. But however, it is an opportunity to serve your country. You get not only just the education benefits, you get when you serve just 2 or 3 years, you get like a VA loan. You can go buy a house. You get all kinds of things available to you by just serving in the military, housing, health, disability, all kinds of things available for you in the military, not just the education. So it's something to really think about. Okay. And then the third option is we talked about is trade schools. Trade schools. Trade schools are definitely a way to go because if you don't want to spend money on college costs and you don't want to serve in the military, at least develop a skill, a job skill. And there are a lot of trade schools out there. Now, I've traveled a bit. I know I'm from originally from the state of New York, where we had a trade program, a trade school program at my high school, where some of the kids that knew they weren't going in the military, they knew they weren't going to college, but they went to this trade school. They would go to school regular, do their regular electives during the day, and they would get on the bus and go to this trade school. And these are the students that would learn to be electricians, to be plumbers, to be carpenters, stuff like that, like skilled labor. And when they would graduate, they would fulfill all their high school requirements. When they graduate, they had a license or certificate of completion for that particular skill, and they were able to roll right into that job. So that's a third option right there. So again, if this is your last year of high school, you want to, if that's an option for you, I suggest that you get on the internet, do a search of trade schools and see what is available in your area. Now that's trade school program that was linked up with our high school. So if that's not at your local high school, then there might be an opportunity where, like my daughter did, she went to a trade school. She learned cosmetology. She learned how to do hair, but she graduated school and she paid the tuition to go to a trade school. Now, the tuition at these trade schools are lot cheaper than just going full out tuition at a university. That's just the only way to put it. So it would definitely be a lot cheaper, and completion for a particular skill job like that, you're looking at maybe a year, maybe 2 years max, before you get your certification or license. So it's more bang for your buck, something to think about. Okay. All right. So we talked about, okay, the three different paths: college, the military, and trade school. All right. You have to make a choice. Which path are you going to go? Which way are you going to go? But before you answer that, if you're having a hard time answering that question, I want to know what's your biggest distraction? What's holding you up? Because I used to tell my own children that you're not going to be a teenager forever. I mean, I know when I was in high school, it was it was a lot of the fun years for me. I had a great time just being young and just driving I had my first car, and go, and I was a kid of the 70s. I was a kid of the disco era. So I thought disco was going to be last forever. However, time moves on. You have to grow up. And Sergeant Roy, as your youth mentor success coach, I've got to be real with you. I have to be honest with you that if you want to be successful in this country, you have to have a skill. You have to have something that you bring to the table, something that wakes you up in the morning. So if you not haven't had time to think about that, what is your biggest distraction? What is preventing you from making that decision? And I can tell a lot of psychologists say a lot of times it's just the procrastination is due to sometimes fear of the unknown, fear of just like, you're going into change. 'Cause change is a scary thing for a lot of people. It really is a scary thing, but you're going to have to change, and it's scary. And let's just put that out there on the table, but you're going to have to make that change. So you have to examine what are the things that are getting in your way. Are you spending more time with your friends? Are you spending time playing video games? What is it? And you have to. So I guarantee you, this is the thing I recommend for you to do: is set aside some time each day to think about this. Set aside a slotted time. It could just be an hour each day. It could be increments of 20 minutes, 3 times a day, to get alone and start thinking about your future, thinking about what you want to do. Because I could tell you one thing, and one thing I can promise you: what alleviates the fear and the nervousness is if once you have a plan and start thinking it out, the nervousness slowly goes away. It will go away, I promise you. But you have to give it some attention. Now, my college students, those who are getting ready to graduate, the same option is for you as well. It's a little bit different. If you're going to graduate school, you might want to look at the military. Think about or whatever study field or study that you've done in college, like business or like science or medicine. You might want to start looking at opportunities to talk to corporations to see if they have an internship program. And now I'm talking to my older young folks, the ones that are in college, the ones that are getting ready to graduate college, because I'm going to be honest with you as much as I can. College does not guarantee you that you are going to get a job. It doesn't guarantee that. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It looks great on your resume, but it does not guarantee that you will get the job that you want. So what are you saying, Sergeant Roy? I'm just saying that you have to, when you're getting ready to, let's say you went to school for business. Okay, that's a very wide field. What about business that you're looking at to get into? What are some of the jobs that are available that your degree allows you to get into? Now, what I recommend for you is to start maybe having conversations with people that are in the line of business, people that are doing like working for certain corporations. You probably know relatives and friends that can give you some pointers. Ask them questions. A great resource for you is the website called LinkedIn. LinkedIn, LinkedIn, and that is a great networking website for not only just for employment, but you'll go out there and if you put in the search engine, people that work in in accounting or work in science or law or business or law enforcement, just type that in there and all these names will come up. And you have an opportunity to reach out to all these individuals. And if you word it just right, if you approach them and ask them to share what they recommend or what advice they could give you on how to get started, they will be more than glad to share with you their experiences. Okay. And for you, this will make this a little less scary as well. These are people that are currently working in that field, and they can tell you things about that field or things that you have to get, special training, special certifications to get started. And you young people, I'm telling you, you're at a great time of life right now. Because when I was your age, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have websites, we didn't have bulletin boards, we didn't have any of that. And we had to go out there and just really do this manually. But now you have the opportunity to network and talk to people that are not even in your state. You can talk to someone that's in California or someone that's in New York or Texas or wherever, and they'll be more than glad to help you and give you pointers on how to reach your goal. Too easy. Okay. Last question I want to ask. I asked you, what was your biggest distraction? I want to end this podcast with one particular question. What can we decide today? What can we decide to do today? What can we decide to do today to get you closer to your goal? Excuse me. Like I said, some of you, school is getting ready to start. What's your plan? My college folks, you got 2 more years of college left. What is the next? What can we decide today that can get you en route to start creating a good success plan? Because when you have a plan in place and you follow it, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but you follow it, you have a plan. Believe me, it takes all the anxiety, all the nervousness out of it. So I want you to think about that. And I want to hear from you. Please respond back to me. If you could get this, if you're watching this podcast, please follow me, respond back to me because I want to hear your feedback. I want to know what your decision for this upcoming school year, what can you decide to do today? And I want to hear about it. I want to follow you through on that. I want to be a resource to you to kind of encourage you to move forward in that transition. because folks, the world has been changing, because now the latest changes, I talked about this before, is AI. We have artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence systems are going to be taking out a lot of jobs that were once current and available. But the good news is there'll be new jobs because of artificial intelligence. There'll be new jobs that are available as well. So it's nothing to get really scared about, but you have to have your mind in the game. Now, parents, and I say this to the parents, if you're a parent, you're watching this podcast, please, you need to start getting involved with your kids. Start getting them involved in setting a plan for their future. You can't let them go and figure it out. I'm from the baby boom generation, and God bless my parents. But I'm from the generation where we had to, our parents, I'm the first one in my family to go to college. And my parents, they sent me to school, but we had to figure it out. I didn't have counsel. I didn't have someone to mentor me and point me in the right direction to show that I had to figure it out on my own. But you guys, now you have an opportunity to go and make great decisions, and you have the bandwidth to make mistakes, because the mistakes now are nothing but life lessons, nothing but life lessons. So please follow me. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel so we can stay up to date on what's going on here. And if you've got any other information that you've run into, different things about joining the military or going to trade school or just going to another university or a different community college, please put it in the chat. Let us know so we all can share it and everybody will benefit by the information. Now, I'm Sergeant Roy. I am the founder of Pathfinders, and I am so excited to be on this platform. I want to see you guys do well and move into what God has for you. And I'll see you on the next episode of Pathfinders. Take care.